Hey guys! Oh, I had barely enough time to set this all up. I hope it's all gonna work. We're going to see. But welcome to the new year and, well, a new live stream. I didn't have enough time to prepare a video right now or this week with all the other stuff I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of PCB design and other stuff. So I thought, hey, instead of no video, let's do a live stream. And I've got plenty of topics left, so yeah. Welcome everyone. I hope you all had a good New Year's. Is that still allowed? It's the 8th. That's still allowed. I think it's fine. Alright, I need to turn the music down a bit. Let's see. Something like this is better, I think. Let's see here. Let's start from the top of the chat. Neat case, but shipping. Whoa, that's a lot of shipping. Well, this case is absolutely not the cheapest option, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see. What NAS OS is he using? Well, this is only partially a NAS. I'll explain more about that later too. But basically, it's gonna sit in my parents' home, and it'll do a little bit of file sharing. That's all the NAS functionality it will basically have. So no need for Unraid or free NAS or something like that, because that's way too restrictive for what I actually want to use it for as a main purpose. Just a few more minutes, yes. Greetings from the US. I love this live stream. Nice. Greetings from the Netherlands. Greetings from Mokum. Yeah. Happy New Year. Looking good. Your lip sync is a bit off. Well, let's see if my settings got screwed up. No, that should be good. Maybe it needed a minute. I don't know. Let me see if the CPU usage exploded because of all the changes I've been doing. I still haven't switched to the new streaming PC because the memory kit in my main PC actually developed an error, so I'm going to have to RMA that. So now I'm using the memory kit I intended to use in the streaming PC, so we're still on the old streaming PC. That's fine. Stream is lagging. Okay. Audio is in sync. Okay. Let me check my internet connection real quick. Make sure nothing is going on there. The internet. No, that looks all good. That should be fine. Cool. No problems with audio and sound or video. Nice, all good. Stream is fine. Nice. Okay. If you are in Europe, X Case sells those as well. £150 plus VAT. Oh, okay. That might be a good option too. I don't know. I didn't change anything to my audio. Audio got resynced when I refreshed. Maybe that's it. Anyway, let's not worry about that too much because, well, we'll be doing other stuff. So, let's see. 95 people here. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I didn't set my streaming resolution correctly. That might be it. Well, today we're streaming in 4K. I meant to stream in 1440p, like I usually do, but I kind of forgot to change that setting. Okay, well, it's better. That's good. So, the main purpose of this build we're going to do is replacing some hardware for a project. Oh, it is only 1440p. Stream is at 2K. Oh, okay. Well, it's going out in 4K, and that wasn't really my intention. Yeah, not much I can change about that now. Nope. Well, I guess I could interrupt the stream. My shaving, I still had a week off or half a week off. So, and I work from home anyway, so my shaving isn't really a thing right now. From Russia, I seen only in 720p. I'm going to do something risky. Let me disconnect the stream real quick. I'll be right back. Hold on just a second. Just. Okay. We should be back. Let me know. Or maybe not live stream. Yeah, we're back. Okay, so now I'm streaming in 1440p. I had to interrupt the stream for that and then reconnect. But, yeah. So maybe the audio sync issues could also be because my PC was getting totally overloaded. And let's hope that's better now. We'll see. Will you upload this? Well, it gets automatically listed once the video is done. So yes, I guess. Anyway, back to the project. Let's see if I can share my browser. That is not my browser. There we go. So, this is the Intermit.Tech technology website. And if I search for something called DIY backup, we see the DIY cloud backup, and we see multiple articles installing and configuring the server, selecting storage, DIY cloud backup. And this image is actually a good one. Okay. Because this is actually the hardware that's been running since, well, as you can see here, 2017. So there was this little mini PC with an Atom-based processor. Didn't have a lot of power, but it had 4 gigs of memory. It had 64 gigs of eMMC storage. And it basically it's just running a Linux operating system. I think it's Ubuntu 18 LTS or something like that. Or maybe 16 still. And it's connected to one of these Orico external storage boxes over USB 3. And that has 5 times 10 terabytes in it. And then I'm running a ZFS Z-RAID 2, so 2 parity disks. So that gives me a net storage of 30 terabytes. Now, this box isn't in my house. I physically moved this to my parents' house, and they have a 500/500 megabits fiber internet connection. And, well, I installed software called Minio. It was pretty new in 2017. Nowadays, it's more well known. But that's basically an S3 daemon, so S3 object storage. You can run yourself, and that's the way I've used it. I use a backup client. I have to allow a comment here because it's funny. But that's how I use it. I have a backup client. I used to use a Duplicati. I think I named that here somewhere. Yeah, so this is the start of it. I used to have Crash Plan, Family Plan, and I backed up 7 or 8 systems to that. All great. But then they stopped doing... I have to hide the screen, because otherwise I'm always looking at the screen. There we go. But then they stopped doing the Crash Plan Family, and it got really expensive, and I calculated stuff, and it's all in the articles, why and how, and using deduplication and storage and anyway... I calculated that if I set up like 30, 40, 50 terabytes at my parents' house and replace the hardware now and then, not with the newest or most shiny hardware, but just something that's good enough, and maybe shared it with a few friends, that would be a lot cheaper because I need about 10 to 12 terabytes of backups just for myself, and that's from 5 to 6 systems. So it's, for instance, like Blackblaze and stuff like that. You can have unlimited backups, but only from one system. So I set up this DIY cloud setup. Let's see if there's any nice pictures. Yeah, so I used Duplicati 2 to start out with. I since then switched to Restic. Restic is a different software for on the client, but it still talks S3 to Minio that runs on that little server. And, well, that just stores the files. And I did a whole series about it, doing a multi-port blog series about how to set up this DIY cloud backup solution. And the reason I call it cloud is because it was inherently multi-tenant to start with. So instead of it just being me, my dad could write backups to it, and some of my friends could also write backups to it, and they'd share some of the costs, and that would make it even cheaper. So that was the whole setup in 2017, and that's been running for, well, over 3 years now, about 3.5, something like that. And it's been okay, but the hardware, it wasn't great to start with, and it's starting to, deteriorate a little bit. So I thought, oh, I've been making changes here in the garage, in part the new streaming PC that's not here yet, but I have a quad-core, I believe 4000 series. I'll look up the exact specifications. But this is a B85M motherboard from Asrock, and it has 8 gigs of memory, quad-core, and a low-energy variant CPU, but I don't need that much CPU. It's Micro-ATX, but most important, it has 6 SATA ports, as you can not see here. Hold on. See, it has six SATA ports over here, and that's those we're going to use. Because I'm still going to use those 5 times 10 terabytes. None of those have filled yet. They're Seagate IronWolf discs, and I generally like those a lot. I have a lot of those. I think I have over 20 now. I haven't had any issues with them except for the firmware bug in the beginning, but that was fixed with new firmware. And yeah, so the discs are still fine. I just like to replace the system that's around it, basically. And I thought, okay, it's been 3 years. Maybe I should do a new series, kind of revitalizing or an updated version of the old series, and, well, take you guys along. So this is the first part of that, and that is that we're basically going to be building the hardware into this box that's over here. I'll show you guys in a minute. And partly it's on a budget, and partly because I'm reusing old components I still have and stuff like that. And partly I just wanted a nice case, because I think if you invest in a nice case, it can last you a whole, a very long time. And I do like hot swap bays and stuff like that. So let me pay attention to the chat real quick. Well, Yota Cloud has unlimited backup for 60 euros per year. But is that for all file types? Do they not delete some of your old backups without telling you? And can you have unlimited, or at least 10 clients writing unlimited backups? Because usually it's limited to a single client system, and I alone already have 5 or 6 or 7 PCs and VMs and other stuff I want to backup. And then it's 60 to 70 bucks times 5 or times 6. And that's not worth it to me. So let me read the chat back a little bit. ADSL in 2021. Oh no. Oh, I feel with you. I worry about a remote self-cloud in case my ISP decides to implement bandwidth limits. Yeah, I live in the Netherlands, and ISP bandwidth limits basically aren't a thing here. And once the initial backup is done, it also isn't hugely bandwidth requiring. It depends on how much your data changes. And for me, that's I think a few hundred gigs a month max of changes, because I don't back up all my original footage, but I do back up my fully rendered videos, basically. So, well, that takes a bit of space. Yes, Synology Syncs is nice if you want to invest in the Synology ecosystem. They have some very nice tooling for that. But I kind of wanted to make it more universal. So that's why basically the storage becomes an S3 storage target. And I believe Synology can actually write to that with their backup tool. And that way it's universal, and you can use any backup tool you like, as long as it supports the S3 storage standard. Well, of course, making a NAS is more fun. But as I said, the Yota Cloud is probably limited to a single client. I have OneDrive Business and stream all my movies nowadays. Yeah, yeah. It's the huge storage requirements for me is because I have this YouTube channel and it generates tons and tons of data. I can actually count it. Let's see what we did last year. I didn't look at this, but since we're now at the beginning of this year, let's see, 2020. That should be okay. Properties. Of course, this isn't everything I back up. I have different folders, but this is just the data I generated making these YouTube videos. And I know you can't see it, but I'm just going to wait for it to count up. Okay, 5 terabyte cloud. That is probably enough for most people. But, oh, okay, finished. Last year, I generated 4.8 terabytes of data just for my videos alone. So that's without any photos I take or private data or any other type of backup. So I generally grow with about 5 to 6 terabytes a year. That's why I have this giant 150 terabyte storage server in my garage. And that's why I have a 50 terabyte raw, 30 terabyte net backup solution at my parents' place to which I upload my backups. And then, at some point, all the cloud vendors were also like changing their plans from unlimited to you now have to pay 80 euros a year per terabyte, and you can only use a single client and stuff like that. That happened in 2017 when Crash Plan Family Plan closed. So that's when I thought of this idea, and well, I invested into it once. This is all hardware I had lying around except for the chassis and the power supply because I wanted something nice. I could have used some old chassis I had. I actually looked into that, but I couldn't make it work in a nice way that I wanted to, so I decided, okay, let's invest a few $100 to get a nice chassis, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. Well, yeah, H.265 is very good, especially if you have a lot of static stuff. Yota Cloud lists €50 per month, not per year. Oh. Well, that's gonna become quickly. I believe Blackblaze gives unlimited storage for personal backup plans. Yes, for one system. But I want to back up 6 or 7 systems. I want to back up this PC. I want to back up my laptop. I have a VM I do a lot of stuff in I want to back up. I want to back up my desktop. I want to back up my server. I want to back up my videos. I want to back up all the things, and I'm not going to take a separate plan for all of those because, well, then it's suddenly really expensive. So if you have one system that has all your data and that's all you want to back up, sure, those plans are generally pretty good, and Blackblaze and Yota Cloud and stuff like that. But if you have a multi-client requirement, oh no, Emmett Ray is here and he keeps disliking my videos. Last time, his excuse was he was drunk. I remember reading that. Are you drunk again, Emmett? And maybe some other people can upvote it. I don't know. You guys vote for the video like you want to. Why not Borg? Restic needs a lot more file space due to missing compression. Yes, a little bit faster, but space on the backup is the dominant part. Well, most of the stuff I want to back up isn't compressible anyway, because it's video data. And I did some tests using Borg and Restic, and I generally liked Restic more. And I believe Borg doesn't have a Windows client, for instance, and I am backing up several Windows systems. And as I mentioned before, I'm not the only one using the system. I basically have a multi-tenant system that is fully separated so that multiple people can use this server to kind of spread the costs. And, well, just having Linux support, well, that wouldn't do. I see a bug has entered the house. Oh no. Well, as long as it's not in our software. You're an inspiration for finding happiness and meaning in everything during these hard times. Thank you. Well, thank you. I'm glad I help. I see more and more TrueNAS and FreeNAS. Do you know when they are used? I see those more and more too, but I generally don't use those because I understand command line myself. How do I explain that? Basically, the NAS requirements I have in my home are just a few shares, maybe some quotas, and maybe some different users on different folders, but that's it. I can configure that in about 10 minutes on command line myself. So the whole FreeNAS GUI and all the limitations and restrictions they put on you, like for instance how you can configure ZFS and stuff like that, I don't really see the use. So I know I actually saw this discussion earlier, I think last year, well, a few weeks ago. I actually run Samba on my Proxmox server, which is my main file server, and my main VM server, because it has a dual purpose role. So yeah, I don't see the use of running a container or a VM with pass-through storage and making it all way too complex when it's for home usage and I can just run it in the home or in the base operating system, which is my hypervisor too, I know. But it's just not worth the hassle if anything goes wrong, because you'll be troubleshooting for hours and hours, and I just need it to work. And pass through PCI devices and FreeNAS and TrueNAS inside of those and blah blah blah, that's all great. But I've learned over the years, no thank you, I'll just keep it more simple. Would Proxmox be an option? We are going to use Proxmox, because even though this server's primary purpose isn't a hypervisor either, I like the Proxmox distribution, and since we have about 8 gigs of memory, we could easily run like 1 or 2 small VMs if the need arises. So yeah, updating on Proxmox is easy too. And I generally like it as a distribution. So which type of CPU are you going to use? I actually have to look that up because I don't remember what's on here. So let me look up my order from when this was made. Because this hardware is quite a few years old. Because the hardware in here actually used to be my HTPC system, and okay, let me stop sharing my screen for just a minute. You know, is it this one? No, it is not. Nope, still not, didn't find it. Oh man, oh man. This is why I should prepare things better, but I had a hard time getting everything arranged today. This is all not it. There we go. This should be it. Yes. This is you. Oh God, no, don't do that. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back here. So this is using a Intel Core i5 4570S. So that's of the Haswell generation. Actually, the current PC is also of the Haswell generation still. From 2013, so this thing is a few years old, but if it's just running with low usage somewhere in a corner, I think that's going to be fine. It has 4 cores, 2.9 to 3.6. It's a 65 watt part, but it'll use a fraction of that during idle. It supports 32 gigs of memory, but I believe I have 2 times 4 gigs in there. Perfectly fine for a not so very busy storage server. Just gonna do some S3. It has integrated graphics, which is nice. And yeah, that's basically it. We don't need it to do much more. Well, it has VTX extension and VTD, so we can actually run some VMs on it if we want to. At 64-bit, that's important. Don't go any older than 64-bit supporting stuff. And yeah, it's generally, it's an older CPU, but it's at least 4 times faster than what's currently there in the Atom-based quad-core stuff. And it shouldn't use a lot of power. I think that's going to be fine. Let me check the chat real quick again. On topic, I have a small 50 terabyte storage running on a PC running Windows without RAID because I'm afraid of RAID. And FreeNAS, etc. and the ZFS file system. Oh no. Isn't Restic only a push solution? Can't remember for sure, but do believe so. Not sure what you mean with push solution, but you can make backups, you can mount backups, you can restore backups. It can do all that, so that's not a problem. Oh no, PG Hall says, you're not supposed to run your network shares on your hypervisor. How dare you? Well, I do. And it's for home usage. And I'll be my own ruler in what I can and cannot do. If we're talking business-wise, yeah, that would be a very bad idea. If we're talking home-wise, I don't see that big of a problem with it. Especially if you otherwise majorly overcomplicate things with no real benefit. So I have an unraid NAS that I can back up 3 servers, 4 PCs to, and then the unraid backups to CrashBlind for $10 a month unlimited. Currently have 100 terabyte and unraid and backup to CrashBlind. 100 terabyte, damn. Well, but then you also have to have space for all that on your server. And I have lots of unique data that's on different clients. And I don't want to sync it to my server first and then back it up. So I get that, but also rocking unraid. Okay. I have 1 gig fiber, so that helped on the initial transfer to CrashBlind. Yeah, I bet. But I need an effective solution for about 100 gigs since Stack decided to stop. Okay. Well, so in my case, as I've shown in my, let me go to the, is this the index? Yeah. If I look through here, I did a storage and server hardware part. And in my case, I placed this in a closet at my parents' place. I opened some ports, and that was basically it. Why didn't I use, oh, we can go through this article, because it's the same for this one. Why don't I use like true server grade hardware and get a second-hand server and stuff like that? Well, for one, that's total overkill. This is already total overkill. And two, that would probably make a lot more noise than I hope this is going to make. And if it's making a lot of noise, I'm just going to replace the fans. And I'd like reusing hardware I have anyway, because this will have been first my HTPC in 2013, and then it was my garage PC for several years, and now it's being repurposed as this backup server. So this investment just keeps going. And as long as my hardware keeps flowing, like I build a new desktop, I upgrade my stream PC, I just use the same hardware for a different purpose, getting more use out of it. Yeah, I did a video on that little mini PC here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, then I did a video on that storage cabinet I'm using right now. The USB 3 cabinet, it's still working fine. I haven't had any issues with it, really. But it's a bit on the edge solution, basically. Using some of these bays and stuff like that, it's a much better choice. Anyway, enough about the software part. We'll be looking at that in maybe more live streams or more videos. I think that's going to be videos. Because what I want to do today, I want to build the hardware. So I'm going to take a look at the chassis, the power supply, and build the motherboard into it, hook it all up, and then power it for the first time. And maybe I prepared a little Proxmox stick, just to be sure. We can install some Proxmox, and then that's going to be it. And then I will do a sort of mock-up installation for some videos I've been thinking about. And once those are done, I'm actually going to replace the hardware at my parents' house, but that's probably not going to be in a video because, well, then by that time you already know what the plan is and why and how for everything. Okay? Reusing old is a fair thing, but NAS isn't ECC better? Yes. Okay, ECC. I knew this would come up in combination with a NAS or or especially a ZFS. So there is the purist textbook people out there who say that ZFS has no use if you do not have error correcting memory. And I get where they're coming from, but then on the flip side of that, they are treating like every PC out there is crash prone every single minute of the day because it doesn't have ECC memory. That just isn't true. You can run your PC for weeks, have zero issues whatsoever. On top of that, so I don't believe ECC memory is a necessary thing. Yes, if spending $500 extra on your memory saves you an hour downtime, and that hour downtime is worth $1,000 to you, then it's a good investment. If it's a home server and your server goes down or whatever happens, and well, you didn't spend the $500, but you don't mind troubleshooting for 2-3 hours or getting some new memory or whatever, I believe that's the choice to make. If you don't mind spending a few hours troubleshooting something, or that something is down for a few hours, you don't need to spend hundreds to thousands of dollars preventing those few hours from happening. That's basically my stance. And that is also my stance with ECC memory. Yes, if you're buying new and it's only a little bit more, sure, get some ECC memory. Feel good, that's fine. But I've been running home servers without ECC memory for at least 20 years now, and I have had zero issues which were relatable to memory errors. Because how many memory errors are you getting on your PC right now? So I understand the point in a business type of sense, and if you are going to have a day's downtime which is going to cost you 10,000 euros or dollars, whatever, yes, please get ECC memory, get all kinds of redundancies, get dual power supplies, get all kinds of stuff. But if you're doing a home server and your server is down for a day and you need to replace a $50 component, well, I'd much rather have a days of downtime or think of some other ways to fix that. And there is a series coming this year, but I hinted to it last year too. It's called HAHA. Some of you might remember. I think that series is actually going to happen this year. But anyway, yeah, see, Wonder Sacha says no ECC on a client, that client can get corrupt. No ECC on a server, every client's uploaded data can get corrupted. But that's where the issue is. Is that so? Because if ZFS detects corruption in a file versus its parity table, it'll just repair that file from its parity data. Unless something happened while writing that exact block of data where it has corrupt data in its parity and in its data file at the same time that somehow doesn't match together and create some kind of miraculous edge case scenario where a block of a file would be corrupt, yes. In theory, it could happen. It has never happened to me or anyone I've ever read about, anyone I know or anyone I've read about. In theory, it could happen, but then a single block in one of the video files I was writing at that moment, which I probably also had a copy of on my desktop, whatever, might have gotten corrupted. I'm not going to spend $1,000 extra on hardware for something that's never happened to anyone I've ever read about and is a theoretical possibility, but it's just not worth the money for me. And if it's worth the money for you, sure, go for it. Well, yes, ZFS only detects errors on disk. It does not detect errors over the wire and through the RAM. Okay, so when would it happen? How often do you get corruption errors on your PC? I mean, have you ever had a corrupted file because of corrupted memory? Because if your memory is corrupt, well, mostly your system just crashes. It doesn't start miraculously only corrupting files you write to disk. It crashes the operating system. Not maim each file it's writing, but running perfectly fine. If memory is corrupt, everything is corrupt, and your system will crash. It doesn't start writing bogus files with crap only. I mean, how do you know it's never happened? I don't have any issues with my files, ever. I've never had an issue with not being able to read back a file. And if it did happen, we're building a backup server today. But then again, corrupted memory isn't going to corrupt a file that's already been written. I mean, the scenario this happens, and I know the theory. I mean, I've worked in enterprise storage for about 25 years now. I know the theory, but the use case at home just doesn't make sense. Okay, well, Patrick, that is amazing. How can your system keep running if your memory is corrupt? Well, no. Why would a scrub suddenly... Yes, in the edge case where you have corrupted memory sticks and it's reading and checksumming everything again, which is mostly a CPU operation, but okay. And it would suddenly start to create all kinds of different checksums. It still wouldn't corrupt anything, because if there's too many checksum errors, it can't repair it. So the scrub would just stop. Oh wow, 72 gigs of ECC memory for $300? That's cheap. It doesn't really matter what storage system you're talking about. I know this topic comes up a lot with ZFS systems, but basically any system applies. Actually, ZFS is better guarded against corruption than other file systems, even without having ECC memory. So. Yeah, okay, Werner had a system that would crap out when using a lot of memory, but when it didn't, it still wouldn't write corrupt files, I imagine. And look, I'm not saying it's an impossibility. I'm saying it's an unlikely possibility. And if you are worried about it and you want to spend 500, whatever, $1,000 for ECC memory, dual network cards, dual power supplies, server grade hardware, motherboard, stuff like that, that's fine. If that's worth it to you, that's fine. It's not worth it to me. That's basically it. But I'll see you 25 years in storage with my 31 years developing the OS. Nice. Hey, but we're talking about two different situations here. This is a backup server that's going to sit in another home that is only going to receive backup data. If this was anything business server uptime critical related, I'd make different choices. Zip drive, yes. You can run ECC on Ryzen hardware. That is correct. My 150 terabyte server I have here running Ryzen hardware does not have ECC memory, but yeah. No, I mean, Wonder Sausage has a point if that situation is of that type. I mean, I wouldn't sell this to a business. I mean, it just depends on your use case. Why aren't you running ECC memory in your desktop where you're creating all your data? Why don't my SD cards have ECC parity protection? I mean, you know, it depends on the use case. No. We're still discussing. I got sucked into the why don't you have ECC memory loophole or sinkhole, I guess. So let's do a little bit more about the hardware. Let's see. Let me check something real quick. Okay. So hardware-wise, I already showed you. I have an old motherboard. It's a B85M. So it's a Haswell generation, and it has a 4-core, 2.9 gigahertz CPU. It's low wattage, and that means it also needs less cooling, and well, shouldn't use too much power. It has an I/O shield. Glad I still have it. I might need to repaste this controller. Wait, let me switch over to a different view. Just to be sure. Oh, I hope this is going to work. It's not so far. Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay. We're doing a janky streaming setup again. But we have a zoom lens. Ha ha ha. There we go. Nice. Okay, so yeah, simple motherboard, nothing special, but as I said before, the thing we care about most is down here, and that's that we have 6 SATA ports, okay? And then, well, as I said, I have the I/O shield, which is very fortunate. Then I listed all this stuff. Well, I didn't list the motherboard and stuff in the description. I got some SATA cables from AliExpress because I needed some short SATA cables, and I have lots of SATA cables lying around, but they were all very long. It's like, let's give these a try. So we're going to give these a try. Well, I guess the chassis is most important because after that we're going to talk power supplies, but not yet. So I need to rearrange stuff here. I am in my own garage, yes. I call this my garage studio. So, to keep in line with what I often do, buying SATA cables. Yes, I like buying colored SATA cables. Let me zoom out here. I figured that would be not properly lit. Oh, look at that. I got a light. So, this chassis is an 8-bay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But my motherboard only has... Oh, I see that the light is in my camera, huh? Something like that. No, okay, well, we'll make do. But the motherboard only has 6 ports. The setup I'm going to run has 5 times 10 terabytes. Those 10 terabyte IronWolf drives I bought 3 years ago. Those are still running fine, so I see no reason to replace that. And then I have a 6th port for a SSD. So I have an SSD which came out of the system I had been running. This SSD is from, let's see if it says, assembled in Taiwan. Yeah, I don't know. This SSD is quite old. It's been running the operating system in this on this motherboard, I think, since 2013. So SSD now 300. It's probably not very good, but then again, it just needs to house a Linux operating system of 2 or 3 gigabytes. Perfectly fine. I could even run like a container or a VM on there, as long as they're Linux systems of a few gigabytes. That should be fine. Yes, I can buy an H310 for more SATA ports, but, well, I don't really need it. And, I mean, I have 2 of LSI HBAs in my big storage server, but, well, this one doesn't need it. And this, I wanted a good chassis with some nice hot swappable bays. we can take a look inside of the drive base. So the sleds are nicely lined with metal, so it should provide a little bit of cooling. And it has the hot swap bays. I mean, I like this zoom setup. Nope. It doesn't want to. Okay, I need to get the light more into it. Sorry. Let me see if I can tell it to do it. Yes, there we go. So it has the actual hot swap base with a backplane already in the chassis. That's part of the price, of course. And as I said, it has these nice metal sleds that we're going to add some discs to. And, well, these are just SATA bays, so no SAS in this case. My big file server does have SAS bays and SAS controllers. And it actually has some SAS disks in it too. But in this case, that's all not necessary because we're just going to use 5 10 terabyte SATA drives and then a single SSD for boot. Okay, let me check chat real quick. Oh no, we're still on the ECC part, huh? Tape backups. Oh yeah. Hey, well actually for my work I use a lot of LTO tapes. I mean, if you have a client that has like 1 petabyte of data and it wants to store it for like 10 years, tape is actually still a viable option. We do a lot of other stuff like Cloudian and Rubrik and NetBackup and stuff like that, but tape still has its purpose. You're not properly lighting a stream. Yeah, I know. But the stream is, you know, I put effort in my videos. I put effort in my streams too, but you have to forgive me here. Okay, let me zoom this out a little bit. There we go. So looking at the back, and that is partially why I bought this chassis, is you can see it has 4 expansion slots, and the reason why a lot of NAS chassis you see out there are Micro-ATX only. And I did think about getting a new motherboard and CPU and stuff like that. But then I was like, this old hardware is fine. It's overkill for what I'm going to do. And let's reuse it. And then if it breaks at some point, well, it's my backup server. I can just replace it and then go on. So, you know, let's open it up. This hardware needs to go in here at some point. Yes, it's not rack mounted. You wouldn't believe it, but my parents do not have a 19-inch rack in their house. I mean, what is the world coming to? So, is this enough to remove this chassis? No, it is not. Did I already lose a screw? Oh no. When did that happen? So I took a quick look at this chassis once it arrived. Came in a really big box from China, but it was well packaged, and it survived pretty good. I'll point it down a little bit. So yeah, there are cheaper solutions than this chassis, of course. You could just use a fractal define series or something like that. And those can often house 6 discs. I know they have the mini NAS series of fractal design, which is also pretty good. But I wanted something with hot swap base, and I didn't mind paying for it, basically. Yep, there is a motherboard slab, that's true. So let's see if I... Oh, okay. So this comes off, and I don't know where to put it, but let's put it here. And looking inside, we see some front panel USB connectors. That is USB 3 or 2. Okay, that's good. What is this? Power LED, HDD LED, power switch, power LED. Okay, sure. Then we have an accessory box with lots of screws. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Oh no. Lots of Molex connectors, but those are for the 4 fans that are in here. So these are 4 times 80mm fans, and what we're going to do, we're going to build this server and run it as is, and if it makes too much noise, well, you know what I've done with my servers in the past, we're probably going to knock the wood up. But let's give the stock fans a chance at least. And yeah, I use a Fractal Design Node 302 with 6 discs, and all my friends say it looks like a microwave. It's ultra silent. Yeah, those are pretty nice, but I wanted the hot swap principle, and I also wanted Micro-ATX, and that is a difficult combination. Of course, in the future, if I upgrade to a different board, I could still go with mini ITX in here. But then again, I need 6 SATA ports, and well, I have the expansion slots if needed, so I can go all routes with this chassis, and basically I can run this chassis for 10 years with different hardware inside. That's the idea. So, regarding the drive bays, let me raise you guys up a little bit. As you can see here on the back, we can see the drive bays. And we see all the SATA connections, so they're all single SATA connections. And then we need 4 Molex to power the drive bays. And then everything should be hot swappable. Well, desktop hot swappable enough. I mean, no RGB. You know, I don't think my parents would appreciate one of their closets lighting up with RGB in the night. Or maybe they would. I don't know. I didn't ask them. Who knows? We could always upgrade it with some Quin LEDs. That's fine. Okay. So let's take a look at this motherboard tray here. Because there's some big thumb screws here. Silverstone CS381 is basically the Silverstone version of the case you're building in now. I looked at that one. It was hard to get. I didn't like their drive sleds. And it was a lot bigger and more expensive, I believe. Because I got it on sale. I get everything on sale, of course. So yeah, I looked at this in the past. And I believe... Let me look at the bottom. Yes, there are some locking screws. Is it going to focus? It is not. There we go. There are some locking screws locking the motherboard tray in place. That's fine. You can leave those out if you think the thumb screws are good enough. If you don't, well, you can screw it in. Dig Uno not included. Nope, not in this case. Okay. Okay, let's put it on its back again. Or its bottom. Okay, we can take the motherboard tray out. And let's put the chassis over here. And well, we see a motherboard tray. It has a nice plastic sheet to prevent any electrical contact with the bottom. That's cool. And it has all the standoffs you'd expect. Now I've been wondering if I should repaste my motherboard base or my cooler, and I wonder if this fits. Nope, that's too far back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that seems to fit fine, for as far as you guys can see. But let me see if I can easily repaste this controller, this CPU cooler, because this has been on here. I don't know how long this has been on here. This has been on here a while. Okay. Well, yes, but I know shipping can be expensive, but then again, they're shipping something that's 15 kilos in a giant box, so it can't be free. It has to cost something, and they can tell you it's free shipping, but then most likely the price is included anyway. And I don't mind paying $200, $250 for a good chassis with hot swap base. I mean, those are worth some money too. And if you think like, hey, I'm just going to strap my discs down with duct tape, I mean, you do you, that's fine. Then you can get a case for $50. So, yeah. Okay, there's 2 giant screws through there, because I don't have a special Noctua tool here right now. Let me see if my screwdriver can just reach that. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's see what 7-year-old CPU paste looks like. Because I don't... Oh, okay. $190 plus $163. That is a bit expensive. Maybe a local reseller might have it. I have no clue what 7-year-old CPU paste looks like. Oh. Well, it was on there pretty good. Pressure seems fine. Cool. And then we have the CPU. Yeah, that looks decent. It's actually, so this is Noctua paste after 7 years, and it hasn't gone crusty or solid or something like. Well, that actually looks fine. Okay, well, we'll replace it anyway. I have CPUs mounted for 15 years. Well, holy old CPUs, bananas. But okay, so we're going to put on some NTH1, or yep, I got a 10-gram tube because I knew I had to do some CPU stuff, because we're going to continue the water cooling stuff and things like that in the future too. So that's good. I need to get a rag and some IPA. How's the water cooling going? Well, fine, but I'm waiting for parts. So I haven't continued that yet. And I'm thinking there will be a water cooling part 2 live stream. So I guess stay tuned for that. I need to refocus the camera at the position I am sitting in. There we go. Okay, so I'm just taking a little rag, and I have some IPA. And most often that will make wiping off old cooler junk pretty easy. So this cooler is also, well, the same age as the CPU. And as I said, I don't think I've ever removed it. Oh, I'll focus in a minute. Hold on. That is pretty good if you ask me. No damage, no residing residue. It's not perfectly mirror finish, but it's pretty good. How do you identify the disks from outside? Do you plan to tag them? Yes. Like I did on my normal server, I generally just put a little label on them, and that helps me find mostly like the last 4 or 6 characters of the serial number, and that generally helps me find the disk I'm looking for if there's an issue. But again, even if I have to turn the system off, pull the disk out, and look at the serial number, this isn't a 24-hour production server. So that would be no issue either. Okay, a little bit more. Is it fun watching me clean a CPU? We do the best live streams over here. But I thought we had a lot of LED content recently, and I'm planning some server content for the beginning of the year and then the rest of the year also. So we'll mix it up. There will be more LED stuff. I have so much I've been doing behind the scenes regarding the controllers and stuff like that. So we'll be doing lots of stuff. I always like mixing it up a little bit on the channel because I don't want to watch LED stuff all year long. I want a variety of content. I like that when other creators do that, so I do that too because I have lots of interests. So we have the CPU. Let me get my rags off. There we go. And yeah, this is indeed, if I can get the angle right and then focus it. Nope. Good enough. This is indeed an i5 4570S. 2.9 gigahertz. Cool. Okay. Will this be on a UPS? No, it will not. Again, not worth the money for me. But then again, I live in the Netherlands and we basically don't have any power issues ever. So, yeah. Ask Mrs. Quinder to help. Hey, Bjorn. I don't think she wants to. I don't think we need to in this live stream. So, okay, let's add some CPU paste, and you can already start commenting on the method of applying CPU paste to the CPU. Why is the garage door opening? I'm sitting here. It's going to be really cold in a minute. Sandra, doe die deur eens dicht. I'm in the garage. It's winter. It's freezing outside, and somebody opened the garage door. I'm not happy. Anyway, we have the CPU, and I'm just going to put some dots on there. And let the raging begin. This is an old CPU, so basically the whole die is centered in the middle. Oh no, it's way too much. No, it's not. It's going to be fine. All the excess is going to be pushed outside. Okay, don't need that anymore. Girlfriend gets more donations. Well, girlfriend's making me chill. The temperature in here dropped like 3 degrees at least. Okay, so this is my CPU application, paste application. Deal with it. You should spread the paste with ECC memory. Oh yeah, for sure. I believe it was on here like this. I need to look. Okay, now let's give it a little bit of force. I know this is a 7-year-old Noctua mount, but it's still really easy. I've mounted CPU coolers before that I was like, why am I doing delicate surgery? I do not understand. Okay, so there's a few headers on here, but I'm going to plug the CPU in, very surprisingly, the CPU header. It is a 4-pin header, so this is a PWM controlled fan. Nope, doesn't go in that way. Let's see here. And then there's these spring clips that basically clip over the side here, and then you do the same on the other side. And now the CPU fan should be freely spinnable. But I actually want to move it forward a little bit. No, I can't move it forward because of the memory. But of course this was already a working kit, so that shouldn't be any issue. And you know, while you're going, do some wire management. I know it doesn't make that much of a difference for the end result, but we can make it look pretty and functional at the same time. And this way the wire is out of the way. These heat pipes don't get that hot that it's going to cause an issue. Let's see here. Yeah, it's floating above the mount. That's fine. Okay. CPU repasted. And, well, the memory is already in here. That's fine too. Let me look at chat for a second. It's only €100 for UPS. Okay, but if the server is down for a day, I mean, I'd rather not. But it's okay. Okay, to be honest, 14 years. Core 2 Duo E6550. Well, with good paste, that's okay. I've seen other crappy paste, though, that after a few years would just totally crust up. This was just fluid. It was fine. So Noctua paste for the win. Yes, it will blow towards the motherboard. Yeah. So it'll get some extra cooling on the VRMs and stuff like that. Okay. Let's mount it to the tray. No. Let's do the most important thing you can always forget in every CPU build. Let's put in the I/O shield. Let's hope it fits. I hate these things. Oh, well, I say that and it goes in without a problem. Nice. Okay, then we take our motherboard and it should just go in like this. And then try and get it on the posts. Is it in? It is not, because it's still sticking too far backwards. Mostly that means you need to approach it at a slight angle. And once all the screw holes line up, you should be fine. Yep. No. Pushed back again. There we go. Yep, that looks right. So now these connectors are protruding. And well, we have HDMI and VGA and DVI. PS2. I mean, this is a blast from the past. Some USB ports, that's good. Some USB 2 more and USB 3. Gigabit Ethernet, and sadly, 7 years ago, I didn't get the Pro variant. So this is a Realtek network card. I'd rather have the Intel network card, but it's going to be behind an internet line, so it's not like it's going to do gigabits of traffic. So, yeah, that's fine. And it has a great sound card, yes! No, we don't need that. Okay, let's get the motherboard box and get out some screws. I think it's... Oh, they include some rubber feet in the packaging. So if you're going to sit it down, you can put the rubber feet on the bottom. Seems they included some extra standoffs if you need those. Oh, I actually didn't check if there's any superfluous standoffs. I don't think so. Oh, well, we can actually include an extra standoff. If you look, I'm not sure I can show you. There's a missing standoff here, and there's a missing standoff here. Now let's take a look. There's one here, here. There's none in the middle, and then here, and here. So now let's take the motherboard off. Yeah, okay. There's no standoffs in places where they shouldn't be. And we do need 2 extra. So let's do that. Why would you get a rebuild during a power failure? Ah, well, we're not using RAID 5, we're using ZFS. And it does a scrub every month anyway. And the scrub only repairs what's broken, not the whole disk. So that's not really an issue nowadays. Let me check it real quick. That's this one, I believe. Yes. Now all spots have a standoff, and as we saw, there weren't any extra standoffs. I think I need to use these screws. Are there enough? 2, 4, 5. No. 2, 4, 6. No. Maybe I need to use different screws. Let me check. These are generally for drives, but these are for drives, that's for sure. These are for smaller drives. Not sure. Let's try these. Flat head screws, yeah. I think these could be it. I never know. It's very hard to identify sometimes. Trying to get it in focus. Yeah, there we go. Either these, I think these are it. Let me give these a try. Yeah, that's fine. Now, the motherboard should be kept down so it can't float away, but you don't have to screw it in like it's going to try and get away by itself. So just screw it in lightly so that, you know, you feel some friction, and then that's fine. Okay, that was 6. Let me check if there's more. Nope, and we did the I/O shield. I'm very happy we did the I/O shield, because, well, you guys would have warned me, wouldn't you? You wouldn't have waited until the end. You would have warned me about the I/O shield. No, this is an Asrock B85M. And as I said, I wish I had the Pro variant with the Intel NIC, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's not going anywhere, so that's fine. And these screws aren't too big to make contact with anything. They hit the pads. Should be good. And yeah, I mean, in the future, if I need more SATA ports because I want to expand, I can use some of the PCI Express slots. I can add a network card if I want to. But for now, we don't need all those things because we're building slightly on a budget. It just needs to work in this case. Okay, now, I wonder if some of you guys have been wondering, but 10 gigabit will come in soon too. Well, not in this build. It's behind an internet connection. But maybe you're talking about your own setup. So, does this actually fit? Does this actually fit in the chassis? Well, to be honest, I already tried. So, I know that's kind of suspense killing, but it is very close. As in, I ordered all this stuff hoping it would fit. I was like, if it doesn't fit, I'll get a different CPU cooler. I have some stuff laying around. That's fine. But did I miss the desk build? Oh God, Jeff. No. I have new plans regarding that later this year. Anyway, this counts as fits, right? I mean, this fits, doesn't it? And, well, the second part it needs to fit is over here. But it barely fits. But the main part where the fan is and buy all the airflow in the chassis, I think it'll work out. If this was a 130 watt CPU port, I wouldn't do it. But this is a low power because it's an S variant. Oh, that doesn't feel very nice, thumb screwy. Oh, it's not in yet. Okay. But as I said, this is a low power CPU, so even that cooler passively will probably have been enough. And like this, it'll certainly be enough. Not sure why this screw doesn't want to go in further. I am going to use a screwdriver on it. I know you shouldn't on a thumb screw, but I am going to do so anyway. There we go. Okay. And now I screwed it in. And of course, I cannot plug in anything else anymore. So I'm just going to unscrew it again. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a high power system. I believe the cooling in here will be fine. As I said, if you're going to mount a 16-core beast with thick graphics cards, maybe get a different chassis. Don't do it in this. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk power. Because that's still an important subject, because we have two choices. We have the cheap choice, which actually looks a lot better than I thought it would. So this one, because it needs a type of 1U style power supply in this chassis, it goes next to the motherboard over here. And this is a 300 watt unit, I believe, or 270 watts. 300, 270, not sure. It's both on there. It's on the either one of those. But CPU 65 watt max, each disk 5 to 7 watts. That's fine. The cables were more important. So this one has this one has Molex plus SATA. Another Molex plus SATA. And then it has a 24 pin and a 4 pin for the CPU. Now, 24 pin, fine. 4 pin for the CPU, fine. We are going to need those two Molex because, well, if you look here, we already have 4 Molex on the drive bays alone. Now, I believe each unit has a redundant hookup, so okay. But then, sadly enough, we also have 4 Molex fans. So this will be Molex insanity and no speed regulation whatsoever for these fans. That's why I'm already thinking we'll probably have to replace these, but maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. Who knows? But, you know, for the fans, they're fans, and I can just, let's see here. Molex connectors of death. Okay, so the trick with Molex is to watch out for, if you plug the connectors together, that you're not pushing out one of the leads in the connector. That is basically often the problems with Molex or any connector really. So line them up properly, and I generally hold the wires and push in the top part and try and guide those wires too. And oh, sucks getting these to fit. So nope, doesn't want to go in. Okay. Yep. No metal parts have come out, and the wires are still sturdy inside of the connect. I'm just going to connect all these fans together. I mean, they're not using a lot of power. Okay. See, now here, this one came up slightly. I'm not sure you can see that. Weird, on the AliExpress page they don't seem to be. I had a Molex connector completely pull out all of the pins, lol. Yeah, I've had that before. So this one pushed out some pins, so let me just connect it on this side. Yeah, that's all fine. So watch out that the pin of the cable in the connector doesn't get unseated. Okay. So now we have this little train. I guess I can connect it like this and we have infinite power. No, we don't. Okay. I kind of prepared for this because I still have some old Molex splitters I used in older builds. So these go from 1 to 2. And again, Molex, you know, watch out that you don't push out the pins. So in this case, I am just going to connect these together. Okay, that went smoothly. No pins have come out. It's all securely seated. Okay. I'm not sure where I'm going to leave these wires yet, but we'll figure that out in a minute. But at least now we have a single Molex coming in. I'm going to need a lot of splitters here. I'm not going to do 10 gigabits in this box. It's behind a 500 megabits internet connection. I mean, that's not going to be really useful. I need more splitters. Oh no. I hate needing more splitters. So what I'm not going to do is hook up the end of this one to the drive bay because, well, it went to 4 connections and it's thin wire, you know. So I'm going to hook up this one to the end of the driveway. Oh, driveway. Drive bay. Okay. Oh, that's a good connection. And then I have a different splitter. And I'm going to hook that up to this one. I like trying to make a 2-reel system. So now this splitter is feeding both drive bays. And, well, as I said, I need more splitters. Damn it. Oh, I have one over here. Oh, nice. I have more. But I only have 2 source connections. Okay, we're unplugging this one. Going through this splitter. So yeah, this is kind of a sucky part of the build because this is splitter insanity. And if at all possible, you'd like to avoid this. But then again, power supplies that fit this chassis are only going to have let me figure out what I did here. Power supplies that are going to fit this chassis are only going to have so many Molex connectors, so you're going to have to use a lot of splitters. There's no way around that, really. Ah, yes. Okay, this one goes here. And then this one goes here. But then they're all on... No, this one is separate. Okay. And then we have this one, which also has the fans. That's fine. So now we have 2 Molex connectors we need to connect. And that has 4 fans. And it has all the drive bays. Okay. Well, not okay. But the Molex born... I mean, yeah, this is a kind of blast from the past, but I don't see any other way to do it in this chassis. It just has a lot of Molex. So back to the power supply. We have this SFP one, and this is $26 or $30 or something like that. But I also got a second one. Let's see if that one has more Molex, actually. Oh, it's still in the bag. And this one was about $60, I believe. But it is well, FSP isn't a bad brand. And this one is from Enhance. I believe that's a decent brand too. It's also 80 plus bronze, but I was surprised that the FSP one also had a, well, at least a 80 plus bronze sticker, as you can see here. Let me, okay, go away tape and stuff. Oh no. It's all fine. Let's see what connectors this has, okay? Okay. So, we have 24 pin, well, if we connect this, it's a 24 pin, okay? Let me move it down a little bit. There we go. 24 pin. And then we have a, oh, we have, well, okay. We have lots of CPU pins, 6 of them, okay. And let's see here. This is a single Molex and a, okay, this is a double Molex. So like that, double Molex. And then we have another Molex, so that's already 3. Floppy connector, yes, we need those. And then it has 2 SATA connectors. So this one has 3 Molex connectors instead of 2. Oh, since we're going to need a lot of Molex, let's use that one. So let's screw this into the chassis first before we continue and wire stuff. I need to make sure this fits. So this is the hole for the power supply. And the way it goes in, I think, let me see if I can do it this way. Nope. So I guess I need to thread the wires in the end. Does it go in this way? You can't see, huh? It could, but let's see if it needs to go in this way. Yeah, I think that makes more sense, because then we have the screw holes over here. This all lines up neatly. Yeah, so this is the more expensive power supply option with the Enhance brand. It is listed in the description if you want to check it out. I'm just going to push this in a little bit. We need screws for the power supply. Oh, we had 6 of these. Okay. No, wait. Let's put these black ones back. I think those were for the outside of the chassis we were missing. I wonder how long this guy's battery is still going to last, but I have more batteries, so. What chassis is that? Check the video description. It's all in there. Now, I wonder about the fan in this power supply. Let's hope it doesn't make too much noise. Okay. That's in. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Noise. Yeah, so let's power the motherboard first, I guess. So this is all extra wires. Oh. Oh, don't need the chassis. Let's see here. Okay, 24 pin first. It's going to be a bit of a hassle. Sorry you can't see it.
They talk about another kind of world.
So yeah, the little extra connector goes on one side because it has some notches, and then you just push it in. If there's no standoff there, try and support the motherboard a little bit. Yep, okay, that went in fine. Let me try and get this cable to kind of go beneath here. Okay, that should be fine. So now that's out of the way. Let's hook up CPU power. And that's these yellow ones. And I think there's actually CPU power and maybe PCI Express. But there should be two I can hook up together. I think. It's too bad these connectors aren't labeled. Let's see the keying. Yes, I believe this to be CPU power, and well, you can't see anything, sorry. Because if you look at the keying of those connectors is different. Because this has a square here, this has a square here, and this one does not have. So let's see on the motherboard. It needs the squares, it seems. So let's see if these two together go in, because I think that would be right. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this. And how do I do this? Jesus. Okay, that one fit. Now for the second one. Welcome to building a PC. Getting your fingers in places they really shouldn't go. Or can't go, whatever. Okay, that is 8-pin CPU power hooked up. It probably doesn't need 8-pin, 4-pin would have been fine. But we had an 8-pin, so that's fine. Okay. Now, immediately you should do some cable arranging, because otherwise it's going to be even more of a mess later on. And I like the tuck away method of getting rid of your cables. And these come out. Okay. This one can go here. Well, it's not great, but I'll look at that more a bit later, but at least it's somewhat out of the way. Okay? Now, we don't have too many more connectors we need to do, but we do need to do SATA. So let me look at chat for a little bit. Is it the 1990s? I think I'm in a time machine here. Yeah, it's a bit older hardware. Hi Quinn there, hello from Russia. I wanted hot swap base, so that was worth the extra money for me. Internet connection, blah blah blah. Okay. Well, let's continue. I really wonder about the battery from this camera. It's not going to last too much longer. Let's get those SATA cables. And we're going to need 6, and we have 6. So that's good. So as I said, this is more going to be a building of the hardware stream, and I thought I'd take you guys along and give some tips, tricks, and here and there. And further steps, well, maybe we'll get to installing the operating system today. We'll have to see how things progress. Really wondering why you struggle with a battery for the camera. I would expect a dummy battery. Yeah, I have a dummy battery, but it needs a very beefy USB supply. And I'm waiting on a USB extension cable. And once I have that, all those problems will be solved. But I don't have that yet. It should be here, but I need to, do a Queen box and stuff like that. And then that should be solved. But I have the dummy battery already. In this case, if it fails, I just plug in a different battery because I have multiple batteries. But normally when it's mounted up there, it's really hard to change the battery and not change the focal view and stuff like that. So, oh, look at that! It barely makes it past the cooler. Actually, it needs to go below the cooler. Yeah, because the bays, the plugs are going to end up over here. So it needs to go under here, like that. Okay, that should be fine. Well, let's do them in order. Okay, I need to start from the other side. I need to start from over here. Oh, okay, this one's keyed the other way around. Okay, now let's take these two and see how we thread those below the cooler. Doesn't sound that great. Well, that should work. It's long enough at least. And then let's do this one like that. Build and install the OS in a few hours. Yeah. No. It's take enough time for that kind of stuff. You don't want to rush. I know a build takes a few hours if I want to do it right. And then installing the OS and other stuff also takes a few hours. Okay. It's good that I have this type of CPU cooler, because otherwise I don't know where I would have left all those cables. But this is going to work out in the end, I think. It's fine. Okay. I guess some could go around the other way of the CPU cooler. We'll see what works out in the end. There we go. It's nice that these are all locking connectors. So those should stay put. And they, well, actually it's smart that they turn these two around, because then you can reach the little latch from the outside. These are harder to reach, but still okay. Okay, so we have SATA connections, we have power. This is USB 3, so we'll connect that later. And then we still have the chassis buttons, and those are over here. And I should be able to reach this part of the motherboard pretty easily once it's inside of the big chassis. So, no HDD controller is hot chipset on high load. It's well, maybe during a scrub, but I've never had issues with chipsets overheating because of SATA load. I mean, okay, so we have our power connectors here. And we have 3 times Molex now, so let's try and divide all power over these 3 Molexes. That means I do not need this wire. So let's tuck that away after unthreading the other wires. I think I can just thread it under here. Because I don't need to deal with these because there's a SATA and I don't have any SATA usage. Okay. Wow, this is short. Okay. Well, we'll have to make that work. Okay, so it's all stuffed into here and stuffed into there. Let's quickly slide it in and never see it again. Let's see how we're going to do this. Okay. Yes. So, we have... Oh, well, if we have 3, let me disconnect this fan splitter mayhem. So this is all the fans, right? Let's put that over here. No. And then we have drive bay 1. Oh, and we don't need this one. And drive bay 2. Oh, you can't see that. So now we're down to 3 Molex. So the fans are going to get their own Molex connector. And then I have 2 splitters, which are each one goes into both drive bays. And I can hook that up to 2 separate Molex cables. And that should work fine. So we have the really short one over here. But then these fans have a pretty decent cable length. So let's get this down here. Okay. And let's hook this up to the short one over here, because I know it will reach once it's in. Oh. I'm really glad that in modern PC builds you basically don't have to deal with Molex anymore. I mean, I've been using it all my life, but it's never been good. Okay. Okay, that went in. And then we have drive bay feed A, basically. Right, okay, drive base feed A, and then drive base feed B. And even if one of these cables would completely fail, in theory, they are now dual connected. Okay, no cables came out, that's good. What a mess. Let's see what happens if we push the tray in, where all the wires go. Okay, we still have the SATA wires sticking out, so I need to wrangle those to over here. Okay. Nothing's pinching. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to guide these cables going in, I guess. Let me pull them over here. So I'm pulling these up a little bit, so that once they go in, they pull out. Yeah, it's a tight fit. But it does seem to fit. All the splitters still seem to be connected. Let's guide these cables a little bit. This is all in there. Don't like this. These are kind of tight. Hold on. That should be better. Yes, now these aren't that tight. This is all fine. This isn't hitting anything. Okay, well, it's in there. It's a mess. Hold on, there we go. Don't catch fire, you Molex gods. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's screw this in. Let's act like we don't need to take it out again. Passing ZFS datasets to containers will land you in all kinds of security and permission group synchronization hell. So, although passing the datasets is easy, if you're using data with multiple clients and multiple users and multiple permissions, you need to basically match up those user IDs on that container, and it quickly can become a mess if it isn't all perfectly synchronized. So, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I'm saying it's easy to F it up, where you're stuck in permission hell. Okay, so this works. Let me turn this camera off real quick, replace the battery because it can't last much longer, and then we'll continue. I will switch you to blocked monitor. I cannot see anything anymore view. There we go. I have no idea what time it is. How long have we been streaming? 1 hour and 43 minutes. Oh boy. And we're not done yet. Replace the battery. Okay. Nope, I need to hook up the cables first because otherwise I can't see. For some reason, I am unable to do live streams, which take like an hour. But I guess I am your Friday night entertainment. Okay. Well, that should buy us at least an hour, I think. And by that time, I do hope the system is up and running. There we go. Yeah, back again. Okay, well, I already tried one of the SATA cables. So basically I can thread them down here. So they come up here. And then I just plug them in. But I can maybe show you from a top-down view. Hold on. So you have the SATA connectors right here, and I can take the cables, and there's a little hole here. Okay, now I can't see what I'm doing, and then I thread them through, and I can just plug them in. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back to I can see what I'm doing. They're pretty stiff SATA cables. Now again, SATA cables are always pretty stiff. So I only have 6 because, well, I only have 6 motherboard ports. I could add a PCI card later on, maybe, if I wanted 2 more disks. But actually I'm going to use 5 disks and 1 SSD, so maybe not. I could add a mirrored boot drive, I guess. But again, this isn't enterprise hardware, although I do like using mirrored boot drives. Might add that later on. You can, in ZFS, you can easily add a mirror to an existing RPool or whatever. So a few commands and it's mirrored. Okay. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 2, or on the front, these 2 are not connected. Okay? Just so we know. Okay, and the cables down here actually go out of the way enough that if you wanted to add a PCI card, like for instance an LSI controller, but that would introduce extra power usage and extra heat, and there's no use for them really. I could have easily added to this PCI slot or this one over here. Okay. Now, we had USB 3, and that connector is conveniently located over there. So it's over here. So let's connect that. Let's first push in the cable this way. Whoa! It's a tight fit, but there's enough space for that, no problem. What are we talking about? Let me check. Yeah, shipping $164. You guys do have to remember, shipping currently global is totally effed. It's getting better since Christmas and New Year is over, but shipping prices are easily twice as high as they used to be. I think I paid $220 or $240 in total shipped. So I had to pay a little bit of tax, but you know. Just bought a Dahua camera using your referral links. Enjoyed a few bucks from AliExpress. Thank you very much. And as Morten Mulder says, it's about 7% commission. Yeah, it varies a bit between 3 and 7%. But if there's enough of you guys, every little bit counts. So I really appreciate everyone using the links because it doesn't cost you anything except maybe for a little bit more effort. And it really helps me, well, doing all kinds of stuff. So, thank you very much if you do. Okay. Oh, wow. I've always missed this on motherboards. Let me see if I can show you. I'm very happy to see that. Yeah, that might be a bit too much. You can do it. Maybe not. Come on. Does it need to be further away? Yeah, I guess. Right. You see here how there's a little plus on the connectors? So you know which side needs to have the plus. Most motherboards don't have that. They just have, they tell you where the slot is, but they don't tell you which way around the connector should be. Poulsen 50 DKK, is that Denmark kroners? I don't know. I'm an affiliate partner myself, so I can check commission. Okay. I also added a link to your channel on my blog for extra exposure. Thank you very much. Awesome. Mention your blog to me on Discord. I'd love to see. Whoa, $447 in Canada? Ooh, that's a bit steep. The microscope. I got the adapters I should use, which Ekin sent out for free. I don't know why they weren't included, but I have those in. I haven't tried those yet. But I'll update a pinned comment on that video once it's... it should be fixed now with those adapters, but we'll see. For the microscope. But Poulsen, thank you very much. Awesome. You are officially the first donator of this year. You don't get a prize, but yes, thank you. Okay, let's see here. HDD LED. And then plus on this side. Oh, so easy. Look at that. Oh, no, whoa. So easy that the plus is on there. Nice. But I'm not going to do HDD first. Power LED. Power LED. Power switch. Power LED. That's this one. And yes, this is epic. Epic cable plugging music. I just realized this chassis doesn't have an HDD LED, I guess. Oh wait, I'm all zoomed in. It has a nice button though. Okay, so now we have these plugged in. Let me just stash those away. And let's lock them away using the USB cables. It's pretty neat, if I say so myself. And this is pretty neat too. I'm thinking we've lost some exposure. No, that's not gonna work. Come on, okay. Oh, okay. Nice. So we have power into the motherboard. We have power into these drive bays. Then we have SATA into the motherboard. We have SATA into these drive bays. USB 3 is connected. Our front panel connectors are connected. We don't have any add-on cards. Net ingeschakeld. What OS are you going to use? I'm going to use Proxmox because I just generally like it as a distribution. And it allows me to be able to run a VM if I want to. And, yeah. Let's see. Are there any cables in the CPU cooler? Well, it's basically impossible to get cables into this CPU cooler. That's pretty good. Expected power usage for this I think about 20 to 30 watts. With the discs added, it might be like 30, 35, 40. I'm not sure. It depends on the discs you have. But we can measure power once I turn it on. That's no problem. We'll just add the SSD. So, fans are connected. These fans are connected. There's no cables in these fans. Push them out of the way a little bit. There's Molex connectors everywhere. That's always good. No, it's not. No, it's not. Liked your 100 terabyte server build. Thank you. Okay, this is screwed in. This is fine. Power supply. What do you guys think? Should we turn it on and then put the hood on? Or should we put the hood on first and then turn it on? You know, screw everything down and then turn it on. What do you guys think? I'll let you guys vote. So, turn it on now while it's open and we can fix something. Or screw it all down and act like it's going to work perfectly the first time. Okay. Screw it on! It's bad luck if you close the hood before post. No hood, we cannot see the flames. Okay, that's a good point actually. Turn on now. Check first. Okay. Let me see how I'm going to do this. So, I'm going to leave this camera here. I need to lower it a little bit. Right. So now you have like full screen server vision, right? And let's put this out of the way. Okay, let's connect a keyboard. Release the magic smoke. Let's hope not. And I have a Ajaz keyboard I've featured more often on my channels. They're nice mechanical clicky keyboards for like 30-40 bucks. It's pretty good. Close it all the way. I want to see you suffer if it doesn't post. I think the I want to see the smoke if it happens is a good thing. I have a extinguisher over there. I am going to hook up a mouse. I'm not sure why, but I think the Proxmox installer actually uses a mouse. But we'll see. Okay. What else do we need? Oh, we need this USB stick. What the hell? Close it all the way. Yeah. Well, let's not. I'm not going to hook up network for now. Oh, and let's hook up the SSD first. So these two were the blind ones. Let's use this one for the SSD. And luckily, the drive bays have mounting spots for 2.5-inch discs. Building myself an unraid box. Cool. Well, unraid is good if you want bulk storage and not have that many demands on performance. Well, did I do anything wrong? Did you guys all think that it's going to bring fireworks? If you do, please tell me. I can still fix it. I'd rather not destroy it. So let's see what cables we need for this. Oh, cables, Jesus. Let's see what screws we need for this. So we have a baggie of these and a baggie of these. I think I'm going to try these because those might be SSD screws or something like that. Okay. This should, in theory, line up. Yep, that's pretty good. And connector is in the right spot. Now, you always have to watch out when using drive bays that the screws you're using aren't too thick. Because, well, they're all pretty tightly spaced. So that screw needs to, needs to be flat enough that it doesn't scratch anything while going in. But that looks good. Unraid's also good if you want to pass through a GPU. Yeah, Unraid is good for certain purposes, but I generally like high performance storage, and I'm used to doing everything myself in Linux and ZFS and stuff like that. And then Unraid is a bit more limiting. Although I've read that Unraid now does stuff with ZFS too, but I haven't looked at it yet. Quinder, we'd rather not tell you yet for the reasons of providing entertainment. Well, I'm glad I am your Friday evening entertainment. Okay, 4 screws in this SSD. This is going nowhere. And, well, that should just slide in. Right? And there should be status LEDs over here. So that'd be pretty cool. But we wanted to see the insides, right? So let's do that. Let's put the camera a bit like this. And I need to add a little screen for you. I'm using the wrong mouse. Too many mice. This is 4. Yes. So I need to add a capture device. And that should be 3, I think. And let's move that over here. Something like that, okay? And that should be, once I plug in HDMI, a live feed of the BIOS. Because I did prepare that. Okay, HDMI. TrueNAS should be used with more server-grade hardware. Yeah, and if you have a dedicated purpose. My dedicated purpose for this machine isn't being a NAS. It's being a somewhat NAS, primarily a backup file storage, and then maybe running 1 or 2 VMs. We need power. Hold on. Okay, let's hope this cable is long enough. And I can thread it through the giant mess of cables that is on my desk. Yeah, for display, we should see it in the right top corner over there. Okay, plugging in the power supply for the first time. But the socket was still off. Okay, let me turn on the wall socket. Okay, the mouse turned on. Right, so that's connected to the USB of that PC. No keyboard yet. Okay. Is there any light on the motherboard? No. Yeah. Well, let's hit the button. Right? Where is it? 3, 2. If the stream is gone after this, I'll try and come back. 1, 0. Well, fans are turning. Let's see if that... Oh, the keyboard's on. Let's see. I need to check if I'm connected to the right HDMI. I think so. Yeah, it's all... Fans are all turning, that's good. There's no lights on these older motherboards. Now, of course, I don't know if we're not seeing anything because of the HDMI and the capturing and stuff like that. You build a fan machine. Well, let's hope it's going to do more than that. Yeah, how do we verify that? Let's pull this out to make sure. I'm not sure it's this input. I think so, because, yeah, this is this one. That's this one. And then we have 3, and we have 1. Okay, I'm not 100% sure which HDMI it's connected to, so I'm just going to leave those both here. Okay, it turned off with a single push on the power button, so that probably means it wasn't booted to anything. Let's try this again. Keyboard comes on. It all looks fine. There's no LED in the motherboard I can see. Oh, if you're not in an OS. Well, no, isn't it? Does it do that in the BIOS too? I don't think so. Yeah? Let me make sure this is working. Because maybe that was set to the wrong... Let's put all this on auto. Oh. Sorry, I'm messing with the stream configuration here. Okay. Nothing yet. Okay, sure. That's good to know. For the instant button. If you're using a USB HDMI dongle, I found they don't work with all graphics cards without using a splitter to remove HDCP first. Can you plug it directly into a monitor? Yeah, I'll have to do that. I can use my little monitor. I have... if I move this away, you can see it, I guess. I have this chat monitor over here, so I won't be able to see the chat anymore, but that's easiest to test with. Let me force the HDMI ports to 1080p 60. Okay, and let's force this one too to 1080p 60. Default, okay. Right, so now they're both 1080p 60. Or, in theory. Oh, this one's transform reset. Okay, so now they're both 1080p 60. Yeah, I'll be able to take it out if needed. I just need to unplug the front panel stuff and that's it. Connect a speaker. Maybe this motherboard has a speaker. I think it might have. I don't actually know. Yeah, no, let's troubleshoot a little bit more first. Let's unplug all the USB stuff. Try it again. I'm also using quite a long HDMI cable. That might be an issue with some older... it does have a VGA port, yeah. But then I'd have to find a VGA monitor. Wait, I think... I actually have a VGA monitor. Okay, let's turn it off real quick. And let's get a VGA monitor. That always works. That's a good tip. Hold on. It's the 90s! Right? Not sure. Oh, of course, power is off. Okay, let me disable those HDMIs. There we go. 90s monitor. A CRT? No, I do not have a CRT anymore. I do have this really ancient 15-inch monitor. Okay, let me turn on power and see if it explodes. It does not, but it doesn't turn on either. Okay, we have a power LED. D-sub, no signal, so it's on VGA. Let's pull HDMI out then. Let's try it. Hey, that looked good. There is a signal. Oh, it's so dim. This monitor might actually be broken. I'm gonna try and show you guys. It's really dim. Yeah. Great menu. Go away. Okay. I don't have the keyboard connected. And so keyboard and mouse are back in. And now I'm plugging in HDMI again. Yeah, the dust doesn't help. Okay, hold on. Hold on. So much dust. My God. There we go. Let me see if I can improve that somehow. Yeah, this monitor has basically seen its best times. I can try and give you guys a little boost. But it's basically saying case open detected. Hit F1 to clear the case status. Oh, hey, this is better. And we're in. We have 8 gigabytes of memory, 2 sticks of 4 gigs. Our CPU is showing up. Okay, let's see if we can change the monitor output. Where would that be? Don't know where that would be. Okay, our CPU's 37 degrees. That's fine. I really used to have full VGA capable monitor. Yeah, really useful. Yeah, especially for this older stuff. It just sometimes doesn't want to do HDMI or I don't know. So let's see where we can say what display output it should use. CPU. Okay, chipset. Primary graphics adapter on board. Yeah, that's fine. VTD is enabled. iGPU. Onboard audio. Good. Okay. It doesn't seem to be on here. Storage. Okay, it's not detecting any storage. We'll look at that later. That's fine. Super I/O, ACPI, USB. Well, let me re-enable the HDMI's real quick. Nope, still black. It doesn't seem to have any configuration option for the display output. Only one monitor works when you're in BIOS. Okay. Well, let's save this. Let's see if it wants to boot now. Case open detected. Okay. Can I disable case open? Where would that be? CPU? No. Turn that to power on. Storage? No. 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 Serial port? What do you mean, serial port? Okay. The RTC. No. Tool. Hardware monitor. Case open feature. Disable. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Christian. Okay, so now we're seeing the normal boot screen. See, oh, we're back in the BIOS, of course, because, well, the USB stick isn't connected and the SSD wasn't showing up. Let's check our SATA controller. storage. Yeah, HACI, that's good. Aggressive power management. I don't know about that. Nothing detected. Okay. 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 ACPI. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Well, let's save this and then see if we can boot from the USB stick. Well, yeah, but I want to see if it... Okay, it now shows the booting from USB stick stuff. So let's turn it off. Disconnected VGA. And, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's re-enable those, because I don't know which one it is. Turn it on again. Could be that HDMI cable is too long, but I've had 1080p 30 or 60 through it before, no problem. No, it has 6. Oh wow, no USB support, damn. Okay, no screen yet. Okay. Let's turn it off, and I want to do something real quick. I'm going to take out that disk, and I'm going to swap it to the first position on the right. See if it shows up that way. Okay. And this HDMI is not working. There is another one I could try, but then I have to tear down my studio a little bit. No drivers found. Molex issue 101%. Yeah. Let me put the capture cards back to auto. Okay, those are back to auto. Plugged in VGA again. VGA isn't showing anything either. Not enough Molexes. Yes, that's what I think too. We can do USB boot or UEFI boot. Let's try the UEFI. See if we can at least get a... Hey! Hey! Huh? There we go. So, which one is it? Is it this one? Yep. Nice! We have HDMI out. So, so what? So the BIOS doesn't show over HDMI? Well, that's stupid. Huh. There's a 2016 BIOS update that adds NVMe M.2. Might be worth looking into that. Yeah, well, this today was mainly for the hardware part. So, let's see if Proxmox actually sees the disk. And we get the console output on the VGA. Oh, it's showing a lot of errors. Okay. And now it's also on the HDMI. That's so weird. So it's good we have VGA and HDMI, because otherwise it would never worked. How big is this? What's going on? Okay. So now we have a gray screen, but the Proxmox installer is over VGA. This is all messed up. Let's say we agree. Oh, okay. It sees the Kingston disk. Let's see. I don't want AXT4. I want ZFS, and let's say it's a RAID 1. That's fine. And let's say compression is on, A shift, and let's make it. Let's under provision it a little bit. I don't know. I just want to see it install. Well, oh, it needs to. Okay, sorry. Okay, is that okay? Country. I am in the Netherlands. Sorry, you guys can't see anything. Let me make that HDMI a bit smaller. I'm just going to do a real base install of Proxmox so we have something to boot. And then we'll do a BIOS update, and then that might be it for this stream. We'll see. So yeah, I'm in the Netherlands. My mouse isn't working. There it is. Let's give it a really simple password. Let's give it some kind of email address. I don't know. testpv.pindoran.lan. Oh, it finds the Ethernet adapter. That's always a good thing. I don't know. Let's give it 10.10. Let's put it in my testing network to 212. I don't know. 10.10.1. 10.10.1. Yeah, whatever. Let's install that. Okay, sorry, chat. Let me read back a little bit. Not enough Molex says. Yes. I'd go into BIOS and see if it detects any drives. Yay, Proxmox. That is really silly. LOL, VGA output. Most likely you won't see the drive when BIOS won't. Hence, the BIOS update might be worth a shot. Yeah, I'm gonna do the BIOS update for sure because I consider that part of doing anything hardware install related. You always update the BIOS at that moment so that when you go forward, that has been done and you don't have to do that once the software is installed. But I just want to see what happens. Not enough power over Molex splitters. Yes, we have infinite Molex splitter power, so I don't worry about that. Add a small HDMI video card to the PCI and disable the onboard. Too flaky. Yeah, I might be able to do that actually. I have one hanging on the wall over there, so that might be an option. Need enough time to melt them into one large blob. Yeah, great success. Has to load driver. Did he misspell Holland? Yes, it's called the Netherlands. Hey, but, huh? Huh? Starting to do something. I think I have some old 2 terabyte disks. We could actually put into it, see if all the driveways work. Okay, so it's rebooting. Remove the CD. Well, I'll remove my USB stick, okay? So BIOS, nothing on the HDMI. Let's see if it auto boots. Oh. It auto boots to the BIOS. Boot. What? Boot from onboard LAN disabled. Boot option priority. There's no boot devices showing up. That might be an issue. DHCP internet flash. Okay, let me get an Ethernet cable. I think I have one here. Let's see if that works. It's like this motherboard is 7 years old. Let's see if I plug in Ethernet. There we go. Okay. Are we still here? I think so. I tried a different SATA slot because I switched the drive carriers. Let's do Internet Flash DHCP. Initializing internet connection. No, we installed Proxmox to... add ME version in BIOS setup. Add NVMe. Oh, okay. Sure. Let's update. Nice. This motherboard is 7 years old, and their online BIOS flash utility is working. That's impressive. No, because we installed Proxmox to the SSD, so it might be UEFI only. Uh-oh, internet connection error. What? Let's try it again. I don't know. Yes, please. Internet update in BIOS is badass. Yeah, right? I remember this being one of the first motherboards I had, which had that. Except that maybe after 7 years it's not working anymore. Do I have a USB stick here somewhere? I didn't prepare 2 USB sticks. I prepared 1 USB stick. I think there might be some in here. There. There are not. That's too bad. Wow, this office is just a giant mess now. I need more USB sticks. I don't want to format my Proxmox one because I'm going to need that again. The dehumidifier function, right? I believe if the dehumidifier function is enabled, the computer will power on automatically to dehumidify the system after entering S4 and S5 state. It's like, it's amazing. Never seen before feature. Never seen again either. There's no USB stick here. That's kind of disappointing. I wonder where the little box is with my stuff. Because it's not on my desk because I ran out of space probably. Should I call the girlfriend to search for a USB stick for me? Don't remember where I have any. Okay, I need to go to another room. You guys entertain yourselves for a minute. Hold on, I'll be right back. But it's working! It's on! It's like doing stuff. Okay, okay, I got my box, and this box says, well, that should have, you know, what we need. Not actually the one I was looking for, but okay. This should do. Oh, free USB port. Think I can disconnect this thing and connect this one. The commission link, there's some in the description, but I couldn't commission link the chassis itself. So only the other stuff. So if you see a link with that S stuff, so s.aliexpress. Hold on, I need to clear this USB stick. Disk part. List disk. Select disk 4. Clean. Create partition primary. Exit. Exit. And now I need to format it FAT32. Oh, almost formatted the wrong drive. Format, yeah, that's fine. Let's go. Yeah. So, let's go to Chrome. Asrock B85. It was a B85, right? B85M. Okay. Let me just do that. Support. Download. No, BIOS. More major information. Okay. Instant Flash DOS Windows. Okay. Let's download it from here. Zip file. Put it on the drive. There we go. Let me just check what is in here. Oh, it's an exe file. Okay. Well, I guess we use Instant Flash. So let's see. USB stick. Check which version you have now. Yeah, I will. I'm on P170, and seemingly the newest one is 2.6. Oh wow, that's a lot of updates. Well, that's you know, that's good. That could do something. Where is the update tool again? Okay, Instant Flash. Yes. Yes. Good. Yeah, I want that. Do not turn off. Oh no. Yeah, it was slightly behind, but well, it's the newest update. Oh, 2013. Yeah, that's probably. Oh wow. I was slightly behind in BIOS updates. Let's see what happens. This is so much harder than installing TrueNAS. We've done nothing you don't have to do when installing TrueNAS. So this is not yet harder than installing TrueNAS. Get the 2.7 beta. There's a beta. Oh, I didn't see it. Well, it's updated to microcode. Well, it is a few years newer. Okay, cool. Nice. My Asrock board was end of life pretty quickly. Okay, well, this board is at least 7 years old. And the latest BIOS update is only 2 to 3 years old. It's okay. Processing crashless feature. What does that even mean? Sure. Yes, you need to plug in more modems. I don't know, I need to find more modems. The fans are reasonable. They're louder than I'd like them to be. But they're not scorching loud. So, it's okay. More updates, okay? Turn it off! No, that's not. Yes, crashless sounds good. Yeah, I don't know about a crashless feature, because indeed, why would you need that? It's a bit weird. Hey, I'm happy you guys are still here. It's fun hanging out with everyone. And doing, these kind of projects. That's why I like doing this stuff more than making a video about it. I can make a 10-minute video about this stuff. But, it's more fun hanging out. Crash less. Yes. This is like saying BIOS now with less fire. Okay, programming success. Enter to reboot system. Oh, got quiet. No, does TrueNAS support S3 object storage and ZFS? Well, it supports ZFS, but it doesn't support S3, so TrueNAS is useless. In this use case. It also won't let me do virtual machines and other stuff I want to do. Well, the HDMI is still in there. Okay. Still not doing HDMI. Let me pull this one out and let's flash that beta BIOS because, living on the edge. (2018). Ha! It does support S3 storage. Yeah, but does it support hosting S3 storage? So I want to write to it using S3. And is it free? Okay, let's go into the BIOS again. And let's hit up Instant Flash. Yes. Yes, 2.7 please. I do. And there we go again. Also try unplugging VGA so it's just HDMI. They might be like, screw digital signals. If there's an analog present, use that instead. True. Very true. Processing crash less feature. Yes. Do not power off. Okay, sorry. Jesus. Let's see how much power it's using. It is currently using 42 watts. That's not too bad in BIOS. Should be lower during normal operation. Another SATA port, maybe. We can try. Yeah, but I already switched it, and Proxmox saw it just fine. It does support S3 now. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I'll look into that, because that's interesting. Because then I could import my... yeah, in theory I could import my current ZFS pool. And my current S3 storage is running using Minio. But I don't know what backend they are using and if that would be compatible, but I'll look into that. That's interesting. I use 3 USB drive enclosures with USB 3 to add drives to my unraid array. Okay, sure. Reboot, yes. Okay. Uh-oh. Are we supposed to see anything? Okay. So now we're on 2.7. That's good. Let's see if we see a boot device. Legacy only. UEFI only. Let's disable CSM. Let's see if we have any new option regarding display output. Primary graphics adapter PCI Express. No. Select a primary VGA. I know it's video graphics adapter, but Good night LED. What? What do you mean? Okay, let's reboot. Yeah, exactly. Want UEFI, not, or both, not legacy. Yeah. Wow, the screen got a lot better. Can you guys see that? It's like suddenly we went 5 years ahead in screen technology. What's going on? Why? Okay, whatever. Still no HDMI, but you know. Still no boot either. Full screen boot logo, no. Okay, let's turn CSM on. And let's turn this to UEFI only. And the video op-rom also, let's see. Screen is worn now. Yes! That's so bad. Wow. Okay. Well, didn't help. No boot options. What? What? What is this? Intel Smart Connect technology automatically updates your email and social networks, such as Twitter, Facebook, etc., while the computer is in sleep mode? What kind of advanced alien technology did they use? What is this even? Even my... What? What does that do? I don't want it to do that. What the hell is this? I mean, maybe they knew things in 2013 that we don't know anymore. What? What does it do? So it has a dehumidifier. It can connect to Facebook while it's... Oh, no, let's not do that. It can connect to Facebook and Twitter while it's sleeping. And it has, like... what was it again? Some kind of nice LEDs. I don't remember. It has some kind of funny LED stuff. Yeah, it has a good night LED. What's a good night LED? Enabling good night LED, the power and LAN LEDs will be switched off when the system is on. It will also automatically switch off the keyboard and keyboard LEDs when the system enters standby hibernation mode. This motherboard has like features I've never heard of in the past 10 years. Okay, let's turn it off. Oh, yeah, let's unplug VGA. Let's turn it on again. Right? What are all these features? Not seeing anything. So let's try and boot the... Well, let's put VGA back in. Yeah, well, let's see if the Proxmox stick can find the storage. Do I need to turn it off to get VGA to work? Nope. Nope, there it's going. It's going. Maybe it's going. Okay, so we're back in the USB stick Proxmox installer. Okay, so let's hit enter. Right? I don't understand what they're even doing with that Twitter whatever. Oh, it's DHCP discovering? Sure. Okay, yeah, sure. I agree to everything. No problem there. Yeah, there it is, dev/SDA. So, the BIOS doesn't recognize my SSD. Is that the problem? Because it's certainly connected, it's certainly working, we just installed to it. Well, we can try a different port again. We already tried a different port. I'll try and enter on the ports. Sure, we can do that. Let me turn it off again. Why would I don't know? We could enable VTD. I think it was enabled before we flashed, but it might not be anymore. Oh, the screen is borked again. Storage. Oh. Okay. I'm not sure why I can set all these things. Let's set them. Sure. Yes. Of course. Yes. Yes. I'm just gonna change it all, see if it makes a difference. And then we have hard disk smart. Yeah, okay. HACI. Okay. Aggressive link power management. Don't need that. Okay. F10. Bootloader not installed. Well, it has to detect what disk it can boot from first. Storage. Hey, there we go. Now it sees the Kingston. Okay, so I'm pulling the USB plug out. So what setting changed it? Ultra DMA 6, 60 gigabytes, serial number, smart supported. Okay, sure, let's enable smart. Let's turn this off, and let's turn this off, and let's keep this set to SATA device type. Okay, let's see if that changes anything. Hey, Cajoling Technologies is here. Nice. Maybe he only does 720p and HDMI. I think I set the HDMIs to auto, and they worked in the Proxmox thingy. Storage. Okay, now it's gone again. So let's enable hot plug and reboot. See if that is it. Nope, that wasn't it. So let's enable external SATA, but it says, please note that the SATA device will be downgraded to SATA 2 instead of SATA 3, I guess. Okay, let's reboot again. Let's see, storage. Yeah, so it needs to be in external SATA mode. So let's try it without hot plug and as a hard disk driver with an R, because that's what it is, hard disk driver. Let's see if it still works. Yeah, it still works. So it only needs the external SATA enabled. So let me put this back because I don't know what it does. Okay, let's do that. Might not be able to see SATA 3. Yeah, but is that because of the drive cage maybe? Or maybe because of the cables? Or maybe because of the port? I don't know. But now we have a boot option. Yes. So, if I now just hit F10... It's low-res HDMI, but it's in auto mode, and I mean, I know it could do 1080p 60 before, and oh no, okay. Let's go to Proxmox. Yeah, okay. And I think once, oh wait, it's not in multi-GPU mode anymore, so this will probably not work. Oh, I/O device errors. Okay, that's not good. Def SDA. Okay, there we go. It's displaying over HDMI. Okay, so once the driver initializes, it can do both displays. And, wow, that's small. Okay. Did I forget my password? Oh, there we go. Yeah? VGA compatible, Intel, blah blah blah. Well, if one thing that is clear, if I'm going to put this system at my parents' house, and if I ever need to troubleshoot it, I'm going to put this monitor there too. Because any other random monitor probably will not work. I think enabling external disk will disable 3.3 voltage. I don't know. Could be. I didn't try it without the drive cage. It's a bit hard to try because I can't really reach the SATA plugs anymore. Let me get some hard disks, and then we're going to round this off at some point, because we've already been going 3 hours. Hold on. Okay. Some disks don't boot with the 3.3 voltage. Yeah, I know, but that's more of a recent SATA problem than an old one. Like this, well, at least my motherboard and stuff seems to be based on. It's not really new stuff. Let me just kill this one. Show you what I'm doing over here. So, to round off, let's install some of the hard disks. Or actually, I have 5 2 terabyte disks here. So let's install those real quick. Nope. Oh, these of course need to be side screwed. And then let's see if it does detect those easily, or more easily. Because, you know, this is also a 7-year-old motherboard, so that might also be a cause of some of the issues. 99% of 2.5-inch SSDs do not have 3.3 volts. That is true. That is a good point too. Are you just going to leave the hostname as test PVE? Well, as I said before, we're going to do probably some videos surrounding this whole backup server subject next to this live stream. And this live stream was mostly about building the hardware. So I want to put the disks inside. And this is 5 times 2 terabyte, which actually uses more than the new 10 terabyte disks in regards to power. Oh wow! Donald Gover, $10. Thank you very much. No message? You can type a message if you want. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm screwing at this point anyway. Yeah, but we're going, this is a test install. I'll probably reinstall it at some point too, or I'll add it in one of the videos. I don't know. And then we're going to do some basic Proxmox stuff again, probably, and not too much Proxmox stuff. I have more Proxmox stuff for a series planned later in the year. For my HA project. But, well, we'll go through how to set up the S3 server and how to make it auto-start and how you can use it with some of your friends to share the cost and, you know, stuff like that. Fiber internet connections are becoming more and more regular, so this is actually becoming easier and easier to do than it was before. I'm going to have to leave, but great live stream. I learned a lot. Thanks. Awesome. I have to head out. Take care. Okay, well, take care to you. Thanks for the donation. That's really awesome. And, well, that's why I try to do these things, because stuff that seems really common to me might be new to you guys. So then, if we actually do the work on the live stream and see what we encounter, well, I hope that's entertaining and you guys can learn from it. Just screwing this in here. Why are the @ messages cut out? I wonder why you don't respond. What? They shouldn't be. Actually, normally I'm used to having the @ messages get highlighted. I didn't know I was missing messages. Digital Eagle IT 4.0. What? What is your day job? Do you also work in IT? Yes, I've worked in storage for the last 15-20 years, and the last few years, or the last 10 years I guess I could say, I've been doing large installations of Veritas NetBackup for either tape or disk or deduplication and everything involved, and I do design and implementation of those and troubleshooting if needed and optimizations. So if you have an organization and you have like 100 terabytes or a petabyte or whatever amount of data, I can design you a full backup solution and implement it and optimize it and, you know, stuff like that. Last few years we've also been started doing Rubrik as a competitor, and I have experience with certain storage technologies and arrays and vendors and stuff like that. Last year I've been doing more stuff with Cloudian, which is an enterprise S3 storage provider for your local data system to store bulk and object data. And yeah, my day job is in IT, yes. Brick the board doing a BIOS update. Didn't put fan on CPU. Overheated, heated and shut down. Yes. That's not a good idea. If at you Intermit it doesn't show up in the chat, I'm sorry. That's new. It used to do that. I don't know what changed. I didn't change anything, so I'm sorry for ignoring you guys. I didn't mean to. Because this is the only chat I'm seeing, so yeah. When will you have more Dig Uno and Dig Quad units available? Out of stock for a long while in the US. Yes. Basically, the US got a new batch and was out of stock before they were in stock again. A new batch is currently in production. It has been for a little while. And we're hoping to have them finished and in the US, but it's going to be tight, in the 2nd to 3rd week of January. So if you order now, either in the worldwide store or in the US store, then, well, you'll get a notification and you should be first in line to get it, basically. You don't need to say, sorry, that's bug testing. Yeah, I guess, but that sucks. I don't want to ignore you guys. This is an interactive live stream. And then if I don't get the ads, well, YouTube is kind of broken. I mean, what's that about? Okay. Shut down -H now. Fellow IT consultant here. I still swear by Veritas Backup Exec for many reasons for my customers. Well, I've been doing Backup Exec for 15 years too. All the way down to version 7, I think. 6 dot something, 7.3, I don't know. But NetBackup is more larger enterprise scale. And so yeah, I've used that a lot. Do you still use the Micro-ATX 10 gigabit switch? Everything you see running now is going through that switch because it's the main switch in my network. So all my 10 gigabit links are terminated on that switch. And so yes. Seems my light is also starting to die. Can I turn it up? This is turned up. Okay. Well, I moved the SSD to this slot. Let me move that back because I want it in this slot. And well, now we just add 5 disks. Yeah, sorry, my light is dying. So I've asked, what would you recommend with a board with only one SATA 6 but much SATA 3 ports? I don't want to throw it away, it's pretty good. Proxmox via ext4 and some PCI SATA card for FreeNAS. Well, it depends. Are you going to run SSDs or are you going to run hard disks? Because if you're going to run hard disks, SATA 2, which is 300 megabits or so, is actually not that big of a problem. Because a hard disk, even the newer 16 terabyte ones, etc., won't do continuous over 240 megabytes a second, something like that. Yeah, well, at Intermit.Tech, but yeah, I have no clue why that's not working. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so if it's for hard disks, maybe some SATA 2 isn't that big of a problem. I want to close up the chassis because, you know, kind of round this off. Oh, hello. I didn't screw in the motherboard tray yet. I'll look at that in a minute. Hold on, let me close this bad boy up. Oh, that's pretty good. Let me put this on here again. Maybe have more screws than I think I should have, but we'll see. See. I would like to run all on SSDs, but I don't know how much slower Proxmox would run on SATA 2 ZFS. Well, it all depends on the use case and how you configure ZFS and lots of other stuff. So that's not a question I can easily answer like that. Would the SSD be limited in total throughput but still kill it on IOPS? Yes, for the most part. But an SSD is also a bursty device. So it'll probably also scale down in IOPS. Somewhat. So if you want full performance, you'll need something with SATA 3. But you can maybe get one of those LSI cards. Those are fine. Thanks. I will have to message Dr. Z's because they won't let you pre-order. Yeah, because he's already got a lot of orders, I think. They just provide an email, not notified, not complaining, just letting you know. Yeah, I know. I've been trying to whip crack the factory to get them to work as fast as possible, but it's taking, it's just going to take a while, especially with Chinese New Year approaching and stuff like that. So we all have to wait. I'm sorry. We'll make more. Okay, let's see. Let's try and get the server and the screen on there. Okay. Let's reset the HDMI scaling. Oh, it's turned off. Okay. Transform reset. Let's put it behind. I don't know. Let's put it behind the chat. Okay. Let's turn it on, see what happens, because now it has 5 2 terabyte disks and that 60 gigabyte SATA SSD. Right? Ooh. Oh. Let's see what kind of power it's using now. 72 watts. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm not sure all the power saving stuff is actually enabled. Oh, it's loaded the XMP profile, I guess. Yeah? No? Load XMP profile. Yes, please. Auto. Okay, chipset. Auto. Let's put this on auto 2. Okay. Storage configuration. Hey! You guys can't really see that. So these are older 2 terabyte disks. Hey! Someone did an at Intermit.Tech. Chat looks nice with the black background. Yeah. Oh, you're just talking about the Proxmox install? Yeah, then it's fine. Unless you maybe want to run a lot of VMs on it. But otherwise, I wouldn't worry too much. So, it's seeing the hard disks. Nice. Let's see if our boot device is still in order. No, it's not. Why am I only seeing this boot device? Ah, there we go. Okay, boot device 1 should be the Kingston. So now... Oh, sorry. This is one of those old school change your boot device menus. So it has the hard drive BBS priorities. And there you make the list. And then here you can select the top one of the list. I don't know, man. Okay, let's do that. Too much old dust going around. Blah. Okay, it's detecting all disks. We're in Proxmox screen. In my experience, there's not much difference between the Eco and the normal variant PIAL. Hey, we're seeing something on the HDMI output. Oh, that's super tiny again. Let me scale that up for you. Okay. Let's log in and let's do a /dev disk. I'll show you some tricks already. A lot of people, when they use disks in Linux, do like ls sd star. Okay. What disks are these? Okay. So there's a directory called disk, and then there's a directory called by ID. And if we do an ls-l there, we can actually see the labels of the the labels of the disk, including the serial numbers and all the partitions. And this is the SSD. These are the hard disks, and then they also have some WWNs, but that's fine. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different serials. Cool. Actually, I believe there is a ZFS pool on these disks. So, do we dare zpool import? RZ2TB online. This pool was last accessed by a different system. That's correct. I don't care. Okay, zpool import RZ2TB-F. Well, yeah, we can grab... Oh, zpool status! My old pool of, like, ages ago. This was last scrubbed in 2019. So, let's go. CRZ2TB... There we go. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, it's my old video archive. Yeah, old videos. So that's what I love about ZFS. This is a RAID Z2. Oh, you can't see my mouse at all. Sorry. This is a RAID Z2, and so it's a RAID 6 set basically, and we just imported it. Well, it was on a different operating system and a different computer before. Just forceful input. There we go. Here's your data. All parodies intact. Yo-ho, let's have fun. I love ZFS. Yeah, and well, we have our R pool, which is our boot SSD. So, yeah. Milan Dzudis. Hi. Hey there. Yeah, ZFS is awesome. Okay. OpenZFS is beta. Yeah. So currently the system is using 55 watts. Now I think there is some more stuff you can tune regarding the CPU, because the standard governor is running in a high performance mode, I believe. And well, there's just, you know, more stuff you can tune to get the power usage a little bit lower. But all in all, it's looking pretty good. And a Maxter optical gaming mouse. Yeah, $2. But yeah, let's do a scrub. I don't know. So we're doing 55 watts scrub RZ2TB, and let's see if these power indicators work. Let me do stuff. Super weird scaling. Whatever. So here's the power LEDs, and there should be activity LEDs too. And if it's a decent backplane, that should work. Oh, I saw this one light up. So let's scrub the Z-pool. This is Linux. This is in Proxmox, and Proxmox has native ZFS always pre-compiled installed. Ah, yeah, that's working. Nice. So these are the activity LEDs. They're not very bright, but they're decent. You can see them. Well, this is just 5 times 2 terabytes of really old disks. These disks are over 10 years old. In the end, it'll have 5 times 10 terabytes, which are currently in my old hardware, which are going to be put in this hardware. And well, basically I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take out those disks. I'm going to plug them in here. I'm going to do a Z-pool import. And voila, those same disks with same configuration are now in this new system instead of the old system. Brilliant. Green light for activity. Yep. Well, now they're on because I'm doing a scrub. Z-pool IOstat minus V1. They're not very fast. So the whole pool is currently doing 255 megabytes a second. Wow, each disk is only doing 50 megabytes a second. Well, I guess the disks are year specific correct. I mean, damn. Oh, of course, this is the new scrub. It'll get faster. I believe these disks, all the scrubs started at the fastest pace. New scrub does it differently. Z-pool status. So it's currently in a sort of scan mode, and then when it starts to actually scrub, it'll be faster. Might want to free up some space snapshots. Each disk is full. No, I'm not going to install FreeNAS TrueNAS. It won't add anything really. Yeah, no, of course. Newer disks can do 200 megabytes a second just fine. Actually, I have 390 gigabytes free of my 5 terabyte pool, I think. Yeah. Yeah, 9.9 terabytes, 8.28 allocated, 830 free. So let's see, power usage. Okay, power usage is now 72 watts. So we went from 55 watts with idle hard disks to 72 watts with busy disks. And I can't imagine this... Oh, we don't have H-top. I can't imagine the CPU doing much. Oh, it's okay. Load average of 2. Wait, do I have internet? Do I have the internet? I do not. No, whatever. Let's leave it at that. Yeah, but this will get better, faster once it... Yeah, no, of course, but H-top... I don't have internet, so I can't install H-top. Yeah, yeah, exactly. If I already know how to do it on console, it'll only eat up more resources... Eat up more resources and be more restrictive for the things I want to do with it. So... My server with 3 times 12 terabytes and a Ryzen 3600 does 35 while idle, while HDs are working under voltage. Nice. Don't worry, you'll have internet in S4 and S5, right? I can put this system to sleep and it'll update my Facebook and Twitter. I mean, what else do you want? This is the best server ever. My 8 times 8 terabyte disk 3700X NAS system with HBA and LAN card runs 130 watts. Yeah, the big boy in the garage, the 150 whatever terabyte beast, it uses about 180 to 200 watts continuous. But that has 8 times 10 terabytes and 8 times 3 terabyte enterprise 7200 RPM SAS disks, 2 HBAs, a 10 gigabit controller, 64 gigabytes of memory, boatload of fans, And yeah, you know, stuff just uses power. So actually, regarding fans, it's not that bad. Let's see if we have HDD temp. No. LM sensors. Sensors. Ah. Okay. We don't have any sensor stuff yet. Nope, don't have that. So, we've been going 3 hours and 26 minutes, and probably even longer than that. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, you know, to wind down. But, HW info? Sure, HW info. Nope. There's nothing on here. I mean, how big is this distribution? Our pool is using nothing? What? 957 megabytes. So yeah, we don't have a lot of tools in here. But then again, that's why a 60 gigabyte SSD downsized to 45 gigabytes is fine. So then it has some space to do garbage collection and stuff like that, and yeah. Let's see. See, no test on that? Okay. Let's see what I missed. What is the benefit of running a NAS on Proxmox virtualized? Will there be a performance bottleneck compared to running bare metal? Yes, anything virtualized will always have some performance impact. Generally, that can be mitigated to 1 to 5% depending on the hardware efficiency regarding para-virtualization and stuff like that. Especially if you can do hardware pass-through of a network card and a disk controller, then the hardware pass-through is very efficient. If you do it through software emulation layers, it's going to be much higher impact. But if you demand performance like 10 gigabit and stuff like that, I basically say don't virtualize, then maybe use a dedicated box for that. Or in my case, like in my home situation, I don't use a dedicated box for that, but I just run Samba on my host operating system as a sort of hybrid server. So, yeah. Good night, people. Nice stream, Quinder. Thanks, Bert. I built new Proxmox build, 2 times 120 gig ZFS mirror for system. Nice. Okay, yeah, I like using system mirrored system disk. I do that on the other servers I have, but yeah. And 2 times SSD 500 gigabyte ZFS mirror. Okay, for VM. Is it a good idea? Yeah, that sounds fine. That's good. That's fine for running VMs and stuff like that. And you can maybe add some disks for storage if you want to, but 957 megabytes. Crikey, yeah. But it includes all the virtualization stuff and the web interface, and you know, it's pretty good if you ask me. I love Unraid for the simple reason I don't need to waste SATA ports or M.2 slot for OS. I hate when I need small SSD just for OS. Yeah, Proxmox needs an SSD. Do not run Proxmox on a USB key. It will die. Don't ask me how I know this. It will die. Maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, maybe in 3 months, and maybe even if you have mirrored mirrored USB keys, they're so close together because of the USB ports that they'll both die at the same time. Maybe. Just, you know, maybe. They will die. Trust me. Don't put Proxmox on a USB key. 240 all over EU. Okay. Yeah, Proxmox still allows you to use the SSD as storage, no problem. Let's see how far the scrub is along. 1.54%. Okay. Oh, it's still scanning, of course. Okay. Yeah. Well, it'll get faster in the end, but it doesn't really matter. It's just fun. I've had the same USB key for over 5 years. Yeah, well, not with Proxmox running on it. My unrated USB drive has 160 reads and 880 writes on it for the past 3 weeks. And many of them are because I take a backup regularly. Oh, nice. Yeah, well, I don't mind adding SSDs, and generally I add 2 small 128 gig SSDs or something like that. Put them in a mirror so that I know my system will always boot even if some hardware fails, and be done with that. I mean, they're cheap. And actually, when I was looking in dmessage, okay, hold on. And let's do the SDA. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. It was mentioning some errors before. Doesn't seem to be anymore. Oh, wait. SDA is now a hard disk. SDB. SDC. Ah, there we go. 60 gigabytes, so that's the SSD. SCSI removable disk. Okay, failed. Drive sense. Failed. Failed. Illegal request. Failed. Underlined write command. Okay. I/O error. Yeah, I'm not so sure about this SSD anymore. So I might replace that one. So I've been using the IronWolf 110 SSDs, I believe. I actually replaced the SSDs in my big file server because I was using very old SSDs and they were also having issues, and it was like, it's not worth the trouble, let's just replace it. And that has since been working fine. Does Proxmox use... Why not use EXXi? ESX is great, but then you do not have a storage layer. So you almost always need external storage or use single disks. And I want to use a RAID Z2 and maybe a mirror for my boot drive and blah blah blah. And if you want to do anything useful with EXXi, you also have to pay for it. And yeah, so that's why no EXXi. Does Proxmox use system drive for cache? Is that why the USB drive dies so fast? No, it's just logging and stuff like that. It's not configured to run on a USB stick. So it does a lot of writes. And it's fine for an SSD, but it will kill a USB stick pretty quickly. I have 2 500 gigabyte Seagate IronWolf SSD drives for cache and 2 IronWolf 240 gigabyte NVMe drives as cache, also in my unrated box. Yeah, I really like those new Seagate IronWolf SSDs. Those have been working fine for me. In my big box, I already had 2 times 960 gigabytes for write cache, and I have a Samsung 960 Pro for read cache, and now I have 2 240 gigs just because of the price and, you know, gigabytes per euro and stuff like that for boot drives, and that's been working fine. They're excellent SSDs. What about Proxmox on an SD card with a USB 2 SD? No. Nope. Troll. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, I have to look at these I/O errors. Oh, well, I guess we could zpool scrub rpool. Okay. Completed in 0. Oh, okay. Completed in 5 seconds. Seems fine. I don't know. Maybe I'll replace that SSD just for peace of mind because it's showing some kind of weird errors. But, you know, 64 gig or 128 gig or something like that SSD is going to be fine and run this for years and years. So, yes, Trooper-ish, we are done. This live stream is done, and I want to thank you all so very much for watching. It was a great adventure. I like having great adventures on live streams. And let me do this. And, oh no. This cable is like intertwined with all kinds of other cables now, and yeah. It was great fun, and I had fun with you guys hanging out. There were some great tips there, because I hadn't thought about maybe changing the settings per disk, and seemingly we needed to enable hot plug for some reason. But it's working, it's seeing all the disks, it's seeing the SSD. You're thinking about vSAN for EXI? Yeah, sure, vSAN, but then you need lots of hosts. That's going to work on a single box like this. Regarding the chassis, yes, it's expensive to import it yourself from China. I'll look into if there's maybe different ways, but I like the chassis. It's a bit tight for Micro-ATX like I used. The CPU cooler only just fit, but I believe it's keeping pretty cool. Noise-wise, it's okay, but it's making more noise than I'd like it to. So there might be a video in the future where I noctify. You've heard it here first, where we might be going to noctify this server, and I might do some temperature difference charts and stuff like that, like I did in my own server. And yeah, I'm hoping to be able to make a good series with some tutorials on how you can set up your own S3 storage server, so you can use backup tools like Restic or Borg or whatever, to or Duplicati, to write your backups to your servers over S3. How much was the import cost? It wasn't too much, I believe. 30 euros, something like that, 35. UNAS has an 8-bay chassis, but it's only ITX board only. Yeah, and that's my problem. I had a Micro-ATX board, and I could, of course, gotten a chassis with Micro-ATX, mini ITX, but then I'd need a new motherboard at least. But then let's buy a new CPU and let's buy a new memory, and suddenly you're 300-400 euros further than buying a nice Micro-ATX chassis with 8 hot swap bays. And, you know, I had to buy the power supply too, but if I want to upgrade this later and swap out the motherboard, or swap out, well, basically the motherboard and CPU and memory, that's fine, because it's Micro-ATX, so mini ITX will go in there, and I can upgrade down the line. But that's my thinking. But, like, let's get a more expensive chassis so it'll last longer, basically. Thanks for a great live stream. Really appreciate you answering so many questions. Sure, that's why I'm here. Imagine helping noob over phone regarding those BIOS driver issues. I would never ever think enabling hot plug would help, lol. Yeah, right? What the hell's going on? But hey, it's doing it. It's working fine. I mean, Scrub would have reported an issue by now if there was anything going wrong. Single NVMe for cache log, or only mirrored NVMe's? Right. So ZIL S-log, use a mirror. L2 ARC, single is fine. Get those thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Or remote iSCSI. Yeah, but then with ESXi, it's already, again, 2 boxes. I don't want 2 boxes. I want 1 box. See, I think I had most questions. So, I'm really gonna end this for now. Again, thank you all very much, and catch you again in a video or another live stream. Bye-bye.